when it ended.
Yeah, I really did believe. I was standing in the center of the ring. I had one hand up. I was confident that I won the fight. And I was surprised that the judges had given him the decision. I was just as surprised by the 30-27 in my favor as well. But, yeah, I mean, I was surprised that he ended up winning the decision. And I was checking with my corner man because a lot of times when you're in the ring, it's difficult to tell whether you're winning or losing. And I came back in the first round after I'd been headbutted. They were working on my cuts, and I asked my corner man, I said, did I win that round? Like, I want to know if I won the round so that I know how to pace myself or whatever. I want to know just because I want to know.
Sure. Now, from me watching it, I told you this off air. I thought you had lost the first round. I thought you won the third round, and I put the second round up for grabs. Yeah. Is that a fair for the average fan? Do you think a lot of fans would have put the second round as the swing round in the decision in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still haven't seen it on video, but what stands out in my mind in all the rounds, really, I guess in the first round, he had me pushed against the cage for that time, and he was throwing punches, and nothing really landed. I deflected everything, and then there was a lot of wrist control, and I stood up. And every time he took me down, I stood up, except for the end of the second round, the round ended. But he wasn't doing anything in my guard, and I was looking at the referee, Dan Merigliotti, and I said, I'm kind of looking at him like, dude, stand us up. There's nothing going on here. Yeah. But, I mean, there was a ton of damage on my end to him on the feet, and half the time when we were in the clinch, he was controlling the clinch. Half the time when we were in the clinch, I was controlling the clinch. And even though he landed a couple takedowns, I stood up most of the time, and even when I didn't, he never landed anything. And all the damage that I suffered from that fight was from either illegal blows or self-inflicted.
Was Dan Henderson a dirty fighter Saturday night, in your opinion?
You know, I'm in there and I'm mixing it up, so it's hard for me to tell. I've never thought of Dan as a dirty fighter, and I don't like to think that he would do any of that kind of stuff intentionally. Trust me, I've had phone calls and internet responses and everything else about how he should have lost points and eye pokes were intentional and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I haven't seen it on tape or anything like that. And if he was fighting dirty, he knows in his heart of hearts whether he was or not.
Yeah. Take me through. How do you feel now? You look like you're. You look like you got run over by a tree. You look worn down. You look tired.
Really?
I'm worried about it.
No, I actually feel really good.
All right. Your face looks like crap.
Yeah, because I got. So
I can say that over the other side of
that has nothing to do with my eye. You know.
No, I'll take that back. Your eye looks like crap is what I mean. It's not like
I think you said that the last time I left studio. Like, God, his face looks like crap. Can we do a phoner with him next time? Sick of that. No, you know, the extent of my injury, so that people know, I got poked in the eye. There was no retinal damage, severe tear in the cornea, and, you know, antibiotics, all that kind of stuff. I'm hitting it with the little juices they tell me to put in it and whatnot. But no surgery on that, which is good. And I didn't actually get hit in the eye, although I have some black around the eye right now. But my eye is still a little sensitive to light, which is great because I'm staring right into the sun in your studio here. I got 2 spots on the forehead and the hairline that I got stitches. I think they put 5 in one cut and 4 in the other. And then some damage to my left shin from throwing so many kicks. Yeah. And I had to end up getting 3 stitches in my shin. And, you know, I caught his elbow a couple times and all that, but nothing, no damage. Just, Sunday I had trouble walking. My ankle was swollen. Like, I'll show you a picture of it that I took on my phone. It's unbelievable. But, yeah, I mean, now I'm fine. I'm jumping around and spry as a 20-year-old fighter, I guess.
Rich Franklin in studio with us, looking back on UFC 93 on Saturday night and looking ahead to the future as well. Oh, man, that is holy cow.
Yeah, so, you know, fans can tell by your reaction. I don't know, maybe we can upload that to the website before I leave or something.
Maybe we can.
Oddly enough,
upload a picture of your face and put a warning.
Yeah. Ugly face. Your face looks like crap. This is what a crappy face looks like picture. Oddly enough, this is my sister's foot next to mine in the picture.
I was going to ask whose other foot.
She was watching the fight that night and standing in her kitchen, turned around and somehow broke the, I think her 5th metatarsal in her foot. Broke it. Just standing.
Ow.
So we took pictures of our feet together the other night when I was at her house.
Take me through the headbutts, and I had to laugh because I'm thinking before the start of the second, you actually saw it, and I think you said, "Wow, that is bad." Or what did you say?
I just looked up and said, "Wow, that's a good one."
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I really, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, that's a problem you run into a lot of times with a conventional fighter fighting a southpaw fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan, being a wrestler, he's not very. He doesn't have an orthodox style. Like he's kind of he's a little wild, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is something we saw on tapes. With his head is constantly level changing and he's moving around. So I would imagine that that all that was accidental, and I don't know. Maybe my head was actually responsible for some of it as well. But yeah, I mean, just with stylistically with the way he moves, he's not your conventional style boxer, and that makes a lot of times for southpaws and conventional boxers.
Yeah.
Clashing heads a little bit.
His background included what, Greco-Roman wrestling? Or
yeah,
something?
he was on the 92 and 96 Olympic
teams. Yeah, that's
teams.
what I thought. Okay. Yeah. Now, when you get a headbutt like that, and there's how annoying does it become during? How painful and how annoying is it during a fight when you're bleeding? And what can be done actually in the corner?
The headbutt is not painful at all. And I mean, even when it happened, the problem is that as soon as you got blood trickling down on your head like that, you know it's going to hit your eyes. Then it becomes a problem with the referee. He's going to call the doctor in, and anytime you can't see or something like that, then it becomes a concern as to whether or not you're continuing. I wasn't really concerned about it in the fight because I knew that it was high. But oddly enough, I wasn't getting really any blood in my eye. All the blood was coming down into my mouth, and I just remember at one point during the first round, like I had like kind of like spit because I was getting all this blood in my mouth, and it was just a real weird feeling. And I remember thinking that, like, I don't have a drop in my eye, but it all somehow keeps landing in my mouth. But no, the problem is when you get cuts on the head like that, since there's not a whole lot of fatty tissue or anything, they tend to bleed a lot, and it looks a lot worse than it is. But Rob Radford, my boxing coach here in Cincinnati, did an excellent job in the corner, as he did with the Hamill fight, stopping the bleeding, and it was not a factor at all in the second or third round.
It was my impression that you, by the third round, you were still going strong, and he was tongue wagging, gas tank on empty. And I thought, geez, if there were another round, or if there's more to this, Rich wins. Did you sense you were in much better condition at that point than he was?
Yeah, I knew. I knew it in the first round when. In the first round, when he had me pinned against the cage, and I was kind of covering up, and he was punching, and he was putting a lot of heat behind all his punches, and nothing was landing. And I just remember that as I stood up and that exchange ended, that I could see him breathing really heavy, and I knew I was like, man, you just sunk yourself. And I knew at that point in time he had invested everything in that exchange. I think he thought I was going to fold in the storm, and I didn't, and I knew that it was going to pay off. But I knew the whole time that my conditioning was better than his. The problem is, it's just 3-round fight, 15 minutes is not. It's a difficult. You have a problem finishing, especially a guy like Dan Henderson. I mean, he's a guy that is notorious for having tons of decisions in his career, and it's difficult to finish somebody of that caliber in a 15-minute time period unless you catch him with a good submission or something like that. I mean, I don't think he's actually been knocked out in his career at all. So. He's got a chin of granite, that's for sure.
Let's take a time out. More with Rich Franklin in studio. We'll continue on 1530 Homer, 1530homer.com.